tonight, this has to be one of the biggest third downs of the game for the Broncos. Elliott Smith has checked out, and Alton Montgomery has checked in. What are you doing if you're Seattle?
Well, I think in this situation, I'm surprised that they called timeout. I think that this is a situation where you can go 4 downs. Say to yourself, hey, we've got 2 downs to get 2 yards. We're okay if we run the ball.
So it's the kind of situation where you don't want to press right now. You don't want to force yourself into making a mistake.
No, and I think that in a situation like this, you go over there, you can overanalyze. And I don't think that's something they should do right now. Right now, they should say to themselves, look, this is 4-down territory. We've got 2 downs to get 2 yards. Let's stay with what we've been doing. Fenner's running the ball well. Let's stick with it. All
right, don't forget, tonight on NBC, it's a double feature, 2 world premiere movies. First, the one we've all been waiting to see for too many years, Camp Cucamonga, featuring 7 of your favorite TV comedy stars, and then followed by She Said No. This is an outstanding movie. It stars Veronica Hamill, Judd Hirsch, in one of the most important movies of the year. So, Camp Cucamonga and She Said No, 2 great movies tonight on NBC, so be with us. All right, it's 3rd and a long yard.
Well, it's interesting because they have their 3 wide receiver situation in. This surprises me. Right here, just hand off to John Elway because they're spread out. He's got a chance to cut right up the middle and get the 2 yards.
John Elway, I don't know. Mark Munford met him in the air.
One of the things you do with misdirection, Fred, is you give the defense a chance to pursue. When they went with the misdirection, that gave Munford and his teammates a chance from the backside to come over and make the play. I don't know why they didn't just dive straight ahead, because right now the offensive line for Seattle has been manhandling the Denver Broncos. Here's the misdirection. You can see right there, Brooks and Munford are able to adjust and see Williams coming up the middle and make the adjustment and make the play on the run.
If they had just gone forward, they would have had the first down.
Exactly right. He runs behind a guard. He collides with the linebacker. He's able to fall across for an easy first down.
Here's the measurement. Ooh, boy. It doesn't look like it's very far unless you're standing down there and you're Seattle.
And there's no decision here. They're going to go for it on 4th down. First of all, it would be nearly a 40-yard field goal, which is hardly a gimme. But in this situation, down by 7, they have to go for it.
5 minutes and 32 seconds remaining in regulation. Both teams have 2 timeouts. For that man and his Seahawks, it is 4th and inches.
One thing Dave Krieg can't do here is let the crowd intimidate him by being too loud. He can't try to calm them down. He should just call out a quick count and get it going.
Fenner, first down. Oh, and nearly a touchdown. Michael Brooks made the touchdown-saving tackle.
You know, I was very surprised at that they cut to the outside because there was almost a chance for them to make a big play. Here you get a chance to see Fenner contemplating. I don't know if he's hurt, if he's just being grateful, kind of a silent prayer. Here you get a chance to see it right there up the middle. Almost got a piece of him, and right there he's almost gone. Only the hand strength of Michael Brooks gets him there. Chuck Knox, ground Chuck. He's got to be excited about this. Yes, indeed. First down, he says. By the way, at the risk of doing my Fernando Lamas imitation, nay, Billy Crystal, he looks marvelous after having lost 63 pounds.
He does look good. Thanks for the impersonation.
You're welcome.
From the 13 on 1st and 10, it's Fenner. But he's not finding anything this time. Michael Brooks on the inside making the hit. Brooks shifted to the inside this year when they moved Karl Mecklenburg back outside. And Wade Phillips told us yesterday that Michael Brooks is playing very well on the inside.
Well, he is playing very well. But one of the things that I thought very entertaining is I asked Karl Mecklenburg about what he said. He said when he went from the middle to the outside, he said he went from a down stance to an up stance. He said that was part of the evolution. I said, well, what happens if they move you to nose guard? Does that make you Cro-Magnon, man?
From the 12, 2nd and 9. You see the clock running. 4 minutes in regulation. Tommy Kane in motion. He gets it off. Beats the blitz, and Kane is down inside the 10-yard line. The clock continues to run. Good job by Krieg beating the blitz.
But Krieg is mad at himself because he realized he threw off of his back foot and he didn't give Kane a chance to catch the ball, or rather run with the ball after the catch. Here you get a chance to see. He feels the blitz, but he's throwing off his back foot right there. He doesn't generate enough power, and as a result, Kane has to come up and make the diving catch and does not afford it the opportunity to run after catching the ball.
And let's give him some credit. He did a good job of going down and cradling the ball to make sure he held it.
Nonetheless, they come up with a tough situation here. 3rd and 5 inside the 10-yard line.
Moving from the 8-yard line. 4 wide receivers in for the Seahawks. Craig has time. He's got blades. Now, where will they mark the ball?
This is going to be interesting where they mark it. I think this is a very generous spot. It's still short of the first down.
I don't know, Todd. Let's see where they mark it.
They're going to mark it right around the 4-yard line, and he needs to get to the 3. So they're going to have a 4th down here.
Red Cashin says, let's bring him in and make sure.
Once again, this is a delay pattern to Brian Blades. He comes underneath. And one of the things that a receiver has to be conscious of here is where the sticks are, particularly inside the 10-yard line. Here you get a chance to see. Now, right there, if he can just fall forward, not turn and run, he might be able to get the first down.
He's a yard short.
As he is a yard short. If he was able to fall down instead of try to cut upfield, try to get extra yardage, they'd have had the first down.
So the minute he took the step sideways, he lost that spot.
That's exactly right. And what's tough about that is you're trying to encourage the guy to run up the field and get extra yardage. But in that situation, if he can just fall down, it's first down Seahawks.
All right, the biggest play of the game for Seattle. 4th and 1 from the 3-yard line. 2 minutes and 57 seconds to play in regulation. They're down by a touchdown. Fenner. Touchdown!
What a great effort. He looked like he only wanted to do was dive, and then all of a sudden he says, hey, I've got nothing but air. What a great job by Ron Mattis and Brian Millard on that side. If you go untouched in a situation like that, you are getting some great help from your offensive lineman. What a day for Derrick Fenner. He'll get a chance to see if they get underneath. And right there, good kick-out block right there by McNeil. There's nobody there. Mecklenburg on the ground. Touchdown Fenner, high stepping.
And, you know, talk about keeping your balance. It's so easy to dive forward. He stayed on his feet, and that's why he was able to turn it into 6.
And strangely enough, being 6'3" helped him there because he had that extra upper body to keep him airborne.
Johnson with the extra point out of the high snap, but Kemp got the ball down. And with 2 minutes and 47 seconds to play, thanks to the work of Derrick Fenner, the Seahawks and Broncos are tied at 31.
There, Brooks has him in the hole, but he's able to escape, almost like a ballet-like move. Very Baryshnikov there because he gave Brooks nothing to hit except for his thigh pads. Great move by Fenner. What a day.
And, you know, you see something like that, and you say, well, that's a normal play. But that's not a normal play for him to be able to keep his balance that well.
It's very abnormal because his mindset is on 4th and 1. I want to get airborne. I want to get over the top. And to be able to adjust, put his feet down, hey, I'm telling you, that's something that he's got to be proud of. Very athletic move.
Let's check the scoring drive. 8 plays, 32 yards, 4 minutes and 21 seconds. Fenner, the 4-yard touchdown run to pay it off. But let's not forget that marvelous kickoff return, 71 yards by Chris Warren to set it up.
Absolutely. There are 3 parts of the game, and a crucial part of the game is special teams. Now it behooves Seattle in this situation to prevent Denver from doing the same thing and getting a good return.
Johnson will kick. Montgomery and Winder are deep for the Broncos. It's a high kick, and Montgomery will have a chance from the 5. Alton Montgomery over the 20 to the 22. Tom Kallmeyer made the hit for the Seahawks. And here comes the comeback kid onto the field, John Elway.
John Elway has certainly been in this position before. That statistic right there is the highest percentage-wise of any other quarterback in the league. Of course, right now it is a tie situation. But his percentage of having done that in 15% of the games he has been in, that percentage is higher than Joe Montana or Roger Staubach.
On 1st and 10 from the 20. Elway out quickly to Jackson, trying to turn it upfield on Patrick Hunter without much success.
No, man.
Good coverage there by Hunter to hold it to a 4-yard gain.
So what you were saying is that percentage is higher than Joe Montana and
Roger Staubach, 2 guys who are noted for having come from behind victories.
But which would indicate that perhaps they weren't behind as much in the final part of the game.
Well, that could be true, too. But see, for the sake of the excitement of this game, tied at 31, let's emphasize the fact that the man can bring his team from behind.
There's no question about that. 2nd and 8 from the 24, 2:32 to play in regulation. And Elway completes the pass to Vance Johnson, who turns it up on Hunter. Whoa, my. Hunter grabbed him. One more step, and that would have been it.
I don't understand what the situation is in that particular defensive setup. They had Rufus Porter in the flat in pass coverage. Rufus Porter is their best pass rusher. Here you get a chance to see it. He jumps and tries to make the catch, but Vance Johnson just a little bit too quick and makes a good move after the catch to get by Hunter for a bigger gain.
Let's not forget about last week when Elway dissected Kansas City late in the game to bring the Broncos back for the win. Here he is on 1st and 10. Johnson again. Another first down. The man he beat, Patrick Hunter. When on defense, Todd, do you say, all right, enough, bend, don't break?
Now's the time.
We have the 2-minute warning. We're tied at 31.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents Legends of the Game. He was the MVP in the 1962 NFL Championship game, although he looked more like a college professor than a middle linebacker. His studious appearance belied a terrifying presence on the field. The first of Lombardi's defensive players elected to the Hall of Fame. Who was this legend?
Liberty Mutual presents the automobile accident that never happened, because we continually work to prevent auto accidents and injuries. In helping to pioneer safety belts, Liberty Mutual Insurance helped make driving safer for everyone. Caring for people is why America believes in liberty.
Almost home.
America believes in liberty. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Ray Nitschke set a standard so high that he was named the greatest linebacker in NFL history, a true legend of the game.
For naming the Mazda MPV best in class, we'd like to thank Car and Driver. For ranking it the most trouble-free minivan, J.D. Power and Associates. For naming it one of the top 10 import buys, Motor Trend. And for making the Mazda MPV the best-selling import minivan, we'd like to thank the Abbotts, the Ackermans, the Adisheks, the Agarers,
Mazda, it just feels right.
the Altons, the Ammermans, the Andersons.
A minute 54 left in regulation, tied at 31.
Well, in crunch time, you want to have a situation where you're familiar with your surroundings. And the Denver Broncos here, as you can indicate, 60-16 under Reeves and Mile High Stadium, nearly an 80% winning percentage. That is the highest in the NFL. And right now, at the crucial juncture, less than 2 minutes to play, this has got to bode well for the Denver offense.
That man has thrown for 254 yards and 3 touchdowns. The give is to Humphrey. He's inside the 40. Clock continues to run, and again, let me remind you, both clubs have 2 timeouts. David Treadwell warming up on the sideline.
People might wonder what that call is about, but the truth is that it actually takes a little bit of time off the clock. John Elway knows with a minute 34 in running that he's got plenty of time to get his team in a situation to kick the field goal.
David Treadwell has not attempted a field goal of over 50 yards this season. He is 2 of 2 from 40 to 49 yards. Elway on 2nd and 7. Out to Bratton, who slips and is dropped short of the first down.
Well, both Bratton and the defender slipped in that situation. Nesby Glasgow went down, and if Bratton could have kept his feet, he would have had a big gainer. Now this is a big 3rd down play. Bratton is down with an injury, it appears, and time is out on the field. Right here you'll see his cleat got caught in the grass. You know, that's been happening a lot today. A lot of slipping and a lot of cleats catching, as we witnessed earlier by the young tight end that had to go out.
They're taking care of Mel Bratton. We'll update his condition when we come back. Raiders tending to him.
Well, it appears from our vantage point that they're playing with his hand. What might have happened is either got it stepped on, or a lot of times when you balance yourself with your hand out on the grass, you can hurt your thumb. Let's take a look right there. He might have landed right there. It might have jammed his thumb when he put his hand out. But from our vantage point, it looked like a knee. But now that he's getting up and they're looking at his hand, evidently he's going to be okay.
Well, Bratton suffered a very serious knee injury in college. Luckily, it was not what it appeared to be. It is his hand and not his knee.
Well, it could be a dislocated finger. Oftentimes that happens to skill position people when they catch a ball on the end of the fingers. In this case, when he put his hand down trying to balance himself, all 230 pounds is on, in this effect, what it looks like the ring finger, and that can be very painful.
Now we are in a situation where the Broncos face a 3rd and 4 from their own 35-yard line, a minute 6 to play.
Well, it's not just a matter of getting the first down in this situation, Fred. They're not in Treadwell's field goal range.
They've got 4 wide receivers in the ball game, and Elway will work out of the shotgun. Hands it off for Sewell. He makes the grab, but does he get the first down?
Well, once again, John Elway did himself a disservice there by not planting his feet, taking the hit, and throwing it hard. He threw off his back foot, but he floats the ball. And as a result, Steve Sewell, by the time he catches the ball, the pursuit can catch up to him. They didn't have anybody covering him in that situation.
Now it's a question of whether they go for the field goal or the first down. We'll have that when we come back. Well, he is on the field, and depending on the spot of the ball, it would be a 49 or 50-yard field goal attempt.
The longest that he made last year was 46 yards, so this is close to being out of his range, but they're going to give it a shot. Certainly the altitude will play a factor in this kick.
From 40 to 49 yards this year, he's 2 for 2.
His longest this season is only 44 yards, so this is going to be quite a kick if he's able to come up with it.
Kubiak's the holder. Does it have enough? No.
Here's a crucial situation here too, Fred, and that is they're going to get the ball there on the 33-yard line. And now they are 3 first downs away from getting their own field goal, and Norm Johnson definitely has 50-plus range.
38 seconds to play. Let's take another look, Todd.
It appeared that they might got a little bit of a hand on it. Right there, it went underneath, but it's sliding off to the right away. You can tell that it isn't going to be good. He kind of knows it from the get-go, too. He knows that he's pushed this ball. He looks away. He knows it. No good.
All right, now let's point out Denver is out of timeouts. Seattle has 2. 38 seconds to play in the ball game, and the Seahawks will start 1st and 10 from their own 32-yard line.
Look for them to try to take advantage of Elliott Smith down here. Jeff Chadwick has Elliott Smith, and you can tell he is very unsure of himself.
They're making a lot of noise. This place is rocking. 4 wide receivers in for the Seahawks. John L. Williams breaks a tackle over the 45-yard line. Clock.
Craig does a good job right there of getting right to Red Cashin and saving the seconds. Does a good job with John L. Williams after the catch to get some yardage. Craig was heads up as opposed to following the play, going right to Red Cashin, calling the timeout. He saved himself at least 5 seconds in that situation.
Norm Johnson warming up on the sideline.
Well, I know for a fact that when I was playing with the Raiders, Norm Johnson hit a 54-yarder against our team in the dome with 5 yards to spare. So I would say they have to get to the 35-yard line to be within his range.
I don't believe he has attempted a field goal from more than 40 yards this season. We'll check on that.
But as witnessed by the fact, I mean, we were watching his kickoffs. How many has he kicked into the end zone?
Sure.
Let's face it. This guy's got the leg. I would think that if the situation presents itself where he's got the game-winning kick on the line, the adrenaline will be flowing.
All right, 30 seconds to play in regulation. 1st and 10. Craig rolling out for Blades. Yes, they call it a catch. He's inbounds.
Dan Reeves is going to argue that, but not too vociferously. Apparently, Blades was able to get both feet inbounds. This is a rollout. This is what's called, by offensive terminology, turmoil. They block the defensive end down and run to the right. Here he throws once again off his back foot, and Brian Blades comes back to the ball. Clearly, both feet are in bounds. Great catch, and yes, indeed, he did pick on the rookie, Elliott Smith.
24 seconds to play. Complete again and out of bounds. Paul Scansey going up to make the grab, and he's forced out of bounds to stop the clock with 19 seconds left.
And he beats Alton Montgomery on this situation. He was also able to save a timeout. If they could have tackled him in the middle of the field, they would have had to use their timeout. Now it's a situation where they can set themselves up into the middle of the field. They're bringing 2 tight ends on. They're going to run in the situation and try to get the ball exactly where Norm Johnson wants it. And then you'll find a situation where if they do run on this play, Craig will turn around, look at the official, watch the clock tick down to 5 or 4 seconds, call timeout, and put it all on Norm Johnson's right foot.
And what is number 9 thinking right now on the sideline?
Well, he's got to be a little bit disgruntled, but here I don't like this play. I don't think the 44-yard field goal is a gimme. I think they have to get a few more yards.
And Fenner just bangs his way forward. The clock is running. You see it. They just tried to move it into the middle of the field. and Red Cashin has just stopped the clock.
This doesn't make any sense to me, Fred. You've got to have a situation where you've got to get a few more yards. Once you went with your 2 tight end situation, Denver knew you were going to run the ball. Had they been able to spread out the field with 3 wide receivers, they probably could have run it up the field for a few more yards. A 43-yard field goal, regardless of the fact that it's in the middle of the field, is not exactly a gimme, and Norm Johnson has struggled from between 40 and 44 yards.
All right, now the official stopped the clock to measure here, and he gets a first down.
It's irrelevant. The down at this situation is irrelevant, and the fact that they no longer have any timeouts, I think that right here they have to kick the field goal.
And here comes Norm Johnson. Now we'll see where they spot it. 43 yards. 43-yard attempt out of the hold of Jeff Kemp in the middle of the field. And there's movement on the line and a flag.
Oh, no. Oh, that's going to be a costly mistake if that's against Seattle. This is crucial territory. 5 yards one way or the other can really make a big difference.
Right, that's right.
The difference between a 44 and a 49-yard field goal is monumental, just as the difference between, say, a 44 and a 39-yard field goal is monumental. And apparently, as indicated by the Seattle Seahawks players, it is against the Broncos.
So Seattle gets a break. It helps Norm Johnson. And not the kind of penalty Dan Reeves wants to see in this situation.
Now, he's got to be frustrated.
Encroachment by the defense. 5 yards, still first down.
But he's not offside. There in the middle, you get a chance to see it. We weren't able to make out the number. I believe it was Cragen.
So Johnson picks up 5 yards.
You know, much like in basketball when they call time. I was going to say, Fred, that much like in basketball when teams will call timeouts and try to freeze out the free throw shooter, this is actually working to Denver's benefit because the longer it takes, the more Norm Johnson has a chance to think about it.
All right, now Dan Reeves wants to talk to Red Cashin about what the call.
Well, there's no decision. The thing is that it doesn't matter if he encroached. Apparently what the official saw is that he made contact. If he made contact, then it is a 5-yard penalty. If he did not, then it should be a no call. And Dan knows this too. He knows that the difference right here in this situation, 5 yards is a big deal.
So instead of a 43-yard attempt, it will now be a 39-yard field goal attempt for Norm Johnson. They're right in the middle of the field. Again, the holder is Jeff Kemp. 7 seconds to play. He missed it. It's off to the side.
That's just got to drive Chuck Knox crazy. Look at the look on Chuck Knox's face here. He is so frustrated. They played so well, and it came down to this. That says it all right there. You count so much on that kicker in this situation. He wasn't able to do it. Same as last year. Johnson misses a critical kick.
We are just 3 seconds away from overtime.
Once again, the leprechauns of the Broncos. Unbelievable. This reminds me a little bit, I say leprechauns for a reason, and there's that Boston Garden metaphor. There is something to the home field advantage here in Mile High Stadium.
Well, the Seahawks had their opportunity, but we'll play another quarter of football to try and decide this one.
Right here, I know it isn't going to happen, but this would surprise the heck out of Seattle if right here David Treadwell tried an onside kick. You know that after the last kickoff return where Warren went over 70 yards, they're going to try and set up for a great return. You can see right there that they're 5 yards away from the 10-yard situation. Treadwell could pooch the ball over there. They could get it.
On the other hand, if they didn't get it.
Well, that's a good point. And, of course, it's easy for us to play coach up here, right?
Don't forget, last time Treadwell kicked, Chris Warren carried it back 71 yards. We're underway in overtime. And Warren will have another, miscommunication. It's Derrick Lavelle this time. And Lavelle is out of bounds at the 27-yard line. There was some miscommunication back there between Lavelle and Warren.
Well, and that's kind of foolish, too, because Warren obviously has the hot hand. He just returned a 71-yarder. And so your situation is if you're Derrick Lavelle, say you.
And it looked like Warren was saying me. We're in overtime. Dave Krieg has the first shot at it. The Seahawks starting from their 27, first and 10. First team to score wins.
Ronnie Lee is now in for Mattis at the right tackle spot. And they start right out with their two tight end offense, which seems to indicate they're going to run the ball.
Heller in motion. Fenner. It gets a lot tougher on the inside at this stage. Mecklenburg on the hit.
Well, one of the things that Seattle is doing, it's okay to run the ball, but immediately when you go to your two tight end offense, you're dictating yourself to Denver's defense. They know right off that you're going to run the ball, and that doesn't give you the diversified offense you need. Seattle needs to come out in a regular set and give them the impression that they might run or pass. Otherwise, they're going to get stuffed as they did just then.
A pickup of 3. It's 2nd and 7.
Single coverage outside for Brian Blades and Emmitt Smith.
Heller again in motion. Play action. He avoids Fletcher and takes off short of the first down.
That's a big play and great hustle there by Michael Brooks. He keeps him short of the first down and forces him to come up with a big third down play. This is a nice athletic move here by Dave Krieg, and once again, he gets him to jump and commit himself. Now, right there with Fletcher in the air, he knows that he's got some free reign. And look at the speed of Michael Brooks to come over and get him out of bounds before he can get the first down.
You know, you mentioned the coverage on Blades, and that is what Krieg was trying to do, go downfield to Blades.
That's right, in that situation. But Emmitt Smith was so far downfield that there's no way that he was able to get it. They had good secondary coverage underneath. As a result, he made the right decision to run with the football.
This stadium is moving. It is rocking. Dave Krieg can't figure out or hear his signals. Time out.
It just gives the crowd another chance to get back in the game. I don't know what they could be debating about, because in 3rd and 1, obviously there's going to be a running play. Yet again, why not take a chance? Throw it up.
Well, we'll find out what they do when we come back. We're in overtime in Denver. Making the decision, Chuck Knox, who saw his team miss an opportunity to win the game in the final seconds. On the other sideline, Dan Reeves, who has to feel very pleased and blessed that he is still in this ball game.
I think you're absolutely right. Chuck Knox has to be frustrated because he had the game right in his hands with a 39-yard field goal. And, you know, having played against Chuck for over a decade, he's not normally a very emotional man, but he certainly showed it there at the end of regulation. And I think you're right. Dan Reeves has to feel like his lucky stars are working his way.
13 minutes, 46 seconds to play in the overtime period. Seattle took the kick. This is the first possession of the overtime, and they are facing a 3rd and 1. Your thoughts?
Well, in every situation so far, Seattle's been able to convert. Right here, you've got to look for the fact that quite possibly if Fenner can break through, he might go the distance. Denver has to stuff it right here.
Williams. It's awfully close.
I think he got it.
So does Chuck Knox.
It's interesting how, though, if you ever watch the side judges run in, see if they're running in a straight line. It's always funny how they kind of weave, and it's curious how a big play like this is dependent upon the straight line this guy walks.
Well, now let me ask you, if you're the ball carrier there and you know they run at that angle, what can you do with the ball to move it forward?
Well, initially what's going to happen is that the guy is watching where the ball lays. So I know that of the nearly 17,000 yards that Walter Payton used to get, a lot of those were courtesy of the fact that he used to lay it down a little bit farther. And you got to figure that over a 13-year career, that probably added up.
You better believe it. First down. You never did anything like that, did you?
Constantly. Who are you kidding? Man, look at me, man. I was an overachiever. I took what I could get. Fred, now they're back in their normal set, which I find interesting. They were in the two tight end set. Now they decided to go with the normal set.
From the 38. I formation. Play action. He has a lot of time. He wants Williams. And John L. couldn't haul it in. Mecklenburg had him.
That was a good chance right there. Now it's too late. He's pointing to say cut back to the inside. But he had exactly what he wanted. He just wasn't able to deliver the ball. Karl Mecklenburg is a great football player, but up the field, he's no match for John L. Williams. Here you'll see that Krieg has all day to throw. He's looking left and right, and now there he is. He's waving him up the field. He's got him on an out and up, and he thinks he has a big play. But it was just a little bit too far, and he drives himself crazy without thinking, man, if I could have that one back, because Williams is there for a big game.
13 minutes, 15 seconds to play in overtime. From the 38-yard line. For Blades, he's very lucky that ball wasn't picked off.
That wasn't a good throw by Krieg. But it certainly has to help Elliott Smith in that situation because he knows now that he can cover him. It was an in route, and he didn't get the ball there quick enough. Right here, you'll see that he's open here, but the ball's late in arriving. He has to dive for it in the midst of double coverage there. And Corrington comes in and makes the hit, makes him unable to catch the ball.
All right, now you're in a 3rd and 10 situation.
Well, the situation here is what Denver is going to do defensively. Will they take a chance and blitz here and try to put some pressure on Krieg, or will they lay back? Because last time they laid back in a similar situation, they caught Brian Blades with a hook pattern in the middle of the field.
You saw the camera shaking. The stadium is literally shaking. The people are pounding their feet so hard. 3rd and 10. Over the middle, complete, first down. Tommy Kane making the reception at the 46-yard line of Denver.
That was a big play, and that showed a lot of savvy on the part of Dave Krieg. Take a look at how he steps up in the pocket. He knows the rush is coming. Here comes Mecklenburg from the outside. He steps up, knows that he's under pressure, delivers right on the money. Great catch, too, by Tommy Kane, who, quite frankly, we haven't heard from in a long time. And it's very difficult if over the course of 3 quarters, nobody has thrown you the ball to all of a sudden come up with a big catch like that.
He did on that play. You see the clock. Time remaining in overtime.
Once again, Fred, back to the 2 tight end offense. This is their running set.
And it's Ron Heller in motion. Fenner. Up the middle. Fenner. To the 35-yard line. Again, that's Michael Brooks, and we saw that earlier in the game, Todd. Brooks had to save a touchdown. Fenner almost broke that one.
The inside are doing a tremendous job. Bailey, Fiesel, and Millard are blowing him out inside. Here you'll see he cuts back. There's nobody there in the middle. There's nobody there in the middle of the field. Michael Brooks with a game-saving tackle there, because if he shakes that, he's going to outrun the corner to the end zone.
And this is what Seattle needs to do, control the ball. And when you're that kind of club, this is the situation you want to find yourself in.
And you have to look and say to yourself, hey, if the guy is averaging nearly 7 yards a carry, we're not doing the job defensively. Derrick Fenner is having a terrific day.
What a ball game. 1st and 10 from the 35. Derrick Lavelle, his first carry in the backfield. Szymanski, 94 on the hit.
You know, I realize that in that situation that he needed to take a blow, but Derrick Lavelle has played maybe 2 offensive plays the entire game, and to put him there in that situation right there where he could have easily caught the ball up because you know he's cold, they really took a chance with that, and right now they're smart. They're going to bring Fenner back in the game.
Clock continues to run, 11:08 in overtime.
I should add, that's not meaning to denigrate Lavelle. It's simply the fact that you want somebody in the game who has the rhythm of the game. And once again, Seattle goes back to their 1 tight end set. It looks like they might throw the ball.
Krieg has time. Does he make the grab? No. They rule a trap. It was Tommy Kane going down. They said he trapped it.
That was a good call by the official. The ball did indeed skip, and Dave Krieg is disgusted with himself because he had Tommy Kane wide open. He had the protection he needed, and he wasn't able to deliver it. Here we'll get a chance to see the ball is going to hit the ground before Tommy Kane can come up with it.
Good effort by
Watch the
Kane.
grass underneath his body, and you'll see the ball hit right there, underneath his left elbow. Good call by the official. Right here coming up to call it incomplete. Excellent call.
All right, now you're at 3rd and 10 from the 35.
Well, you've got to throw the ball in this situation. You might want to take a chance with a drop play, but something we have not seen today, with the exception of the botched play by Mecklenburg, is a screen. A screen might be interesting at this point.
4 wide receivers on 3rd and 10. Williams is open. One move, another. He is short of the first down.
I know he's short of the first down, but this is actually a big play, because what happens now is that we're looking at a 42-yard field goal. Prior to that, he would have been kicking a 50-plus yard field goal, somewhere around the neighborhood of 52 or 53. So even though they don't get the first down, that was a crucial play by John L. Williams to get the extra yardage.
It's Norm Johnson and the memories he must have. Last year in the final game against the Broncos, he missed 2 field goals late. Now he misses one at the end of regulation. He has a chance to redeem himself.
And he missed it to the right last time, Fred, and he is on the right hash here.
44 yards for the win. He missed it again.
The snap is good. The hold is good. Right there, he knows. Once again, he pushes it to the right. The exact same situation. He's frustrated. Kemp tries to console him, but there's nothing to say. Trying to put some body English on it, but that doesn't help. The ball is long gone. He doesn't know what to say.
There can be no lonelier man in the stadium right now than Norm Johnson.
You're absolutely right. And you know, the frustration from that is that when the snap is good and the hold is good, you can talk all you want about technique, but it's too late. You know, you put it all on that one play, and you're right. Norm Johnson has to be frustrated.
Broncos with another opportunity, 1st and 10 from their 26. Elway had time. Now dumps it to the middle of the field. Good catch. Clarence Kay went up to take it away from Terry Wooden. 1st down, Denver.
The play was made by John Elway. What a magician. Jacob Green had him in his grasp for his career 100th sack, and he is able to escape. Right here you see he has plenty of time, but Jacob Green finally shakes loose. He's got it for the sack, but he avoids it. Puts the ball in his other hand and throws across his body. He's the only one with the arm strong enough to do that, and Cade comes up with a big catch.
Broncos 1st and 10 from their 43. That's the story. 9:25 to play in overtime. Elway rolling. Wanted Johnson. Tony Woods had the coverage and was forcing Elway on the play.
They're familiar with that play now. They know that they have the comeback route. Now is a good coverage in the secondary, and Tony Woods put the rush on Elway.
We talked earlier about the fact that Elway is so good late in the game at dissecting defenses and connecting on the big play. On a 2nd and 10 situation, what would the Seahawks be looking for, Todd?
Well, again, the Seahawks have been taking some chances with some safety blitzes. I think here he's still pretty much open. This could be a situation where he might want to run a draw play.
Sewell and Humphrey behind Elway. Complete. Vance Johnson inside Seahawk territory.
The way they have it marked, it's going to be just short of the 1st down. But once again, a good play here. You have Jenkins backpedaling at the snap of the ball. Johnson comes down into the zone and just sits down. This isn't man-for-man coverage. He finds the dead spot in the zone, turns around, and nearly gets the 1st down. Good call by Elway.
Vance Johnson, 82, 6th year out of Arizona. Leading receiver for the club coming into the game, and certainly having a fine afternoon today. They're bringing the chains across to find out if he picked up the 1st down or not. And he's short.
Vance Johnson having a big day today. He has 9 catches for 120 yards, and he's showing that he's more than just a speed receiver. What happens, Fred, in the NFL is that we get caught up in the fact that you've got your speed burners and your possession receivers. In a lot of cases, never the twain shall meet. But Vance Johnson has shown a lot today to the fact that he can catch the short passes, catch the ball in the middle of the field, and he's shown a lot of toughness as well.
3rd down and a yard. Working from the Seattle 48. Clock has started again. 8:54 remaining in overtime. Tied at 31.
As an artist, Vance Johnson may not be Gauguin just yet, but Gauguin never had a year catching like he did.
And John Elway goes over the center for a 1st down.
Well, time is irrelevant here, and it's funny because you see everybody's fatigued at this point. It's taken longer and longer to get off the pile, and of course, if you're the defense of Seattle, you have to be disappointed because you've played so hard, and twice now you've assumed that you've played well enough to win the game, and it's frustrating. Psychologically, Seattle has to be down at this point.
I was going to ask you, you speak of fatigue. At what parts of the defense are the most vulnerable?
Well, in this situation, it becomes the big people up front. It hinders the pass rush because they don't have the energy to get to the passer, and someone like Elway, who is not easily sacked, can frustrate you.
There's Humphrey, and they're trying to run at the big guys. He's over the 45-yard line before Jacob Green drops him.
Well, once again, this is a situation where it's pretty much on the shoulders of John Elway. Humphrey at this point, yes, he does have over 100 yards, and he's played well, but they're counting on Elway to make the play, and the Seahawks know that as well. And don't be surprised if on this particular down, Seattle takes some chances and comes with some people in the secondary.
You saw on the other side of the field, number 9 in orange, David Treadwell getting ready, warming his leg up for a field goal opportunity. 2nd and 8 from the 44.
Watch Steve Sewell coming out of the backfield.
Instead, it's Humphrey out of the backfield. Down to the 35-yard line of Seattle.
That's a great effort by Bobby Humphrey. He was stopped short of the first down, and I was very surprised in that situation because Seattle defensively was very conservative. They backed up into a zone. Elway just dumped it off to Humphrey, who's their best player with the ball in his hands downfield. And here you get a chance to see that he's not just a scat back. He cuts up field here. 3 guys close in on him, but he keeps running, gets across the 35-yard line for the first down.
Bobby Humphrey giving the Broncos a first down, moving 1st and 10 from the 34. Both wide receivers to the near side of the field. Elway changing the play at the line. Humphrey. Bobby Humphrey!
The draw play we just alluded to. That was a great move on the part of the Denver Broncos to make that call. And as we mentioned earlier, the defensive line was fatigued. And here's a situation where they're not even going to bother with getting any closer. Right now, they're going to go with the kick.
Let's take care of business. It's David Treadwell.
People might ask themselves the question, why are they doing it right now? The reason they're doing it on first down is if by chance there's a bad snap or the holder fumbles the ball, they can fall on the ball and still do it over again on 2nd down.
From 25 yards at the angle right, David Treadwell has won the game for Denver.
You can certainly be happy for David Treadwell, but your heart certainly has to go out to Norm Johnson. It's been a tough day for them, and your heart has to go out to the Seahawks players as well, who played their hearts out under difficult circumstances and came away with this very painstaking loss. "25-yarder gimme." He knows it. He knows it. We win.
You know, as I saw that shot, the exuberance of the Denver fans, I just thought about the other sideline and Norm Johnson, who had 2 cracks at it and couldn't connect today.
Well, you know that in this game, you run the gamut of emotions. Never more apropos was it the old phrase about the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat.
In overtime, Denver defeats Seattle 34-31. We'll be right back to Mile High.
Because you measure success 1 step at a time.
It's right there now.
Because you know this is the pure and simple reason our beer is so refreshing.
It's the right there now.
When the only thing better than a day on the beach is a night on the beach. Reach for the taste of the Silver Bullet, the one that won't slow you down.
It's the right there now.
We tested STP oil treatment under the worst possible conditions. In the taxi cabs in New York City. The result? Engine lift to wear was reduced by up to 50%. And now there's an STP for your newer car, too.
If you don't like the looks of your car, shoot it with Son of a Gun from STP. Shoot the dash, seats, tires, and roof. Son of a Gun protecting. Man, what a difference.
Our final at Mile High Stadium, 34-31, Denver over Seattle. Todd, your thoughts?
Well, the Denver Broncos are turning out to be the Notre Dame of the NFL. They've been very fortunate today. They got a lot of luck to go their way. On the downside for Seattle, you have to say that Norm Johnson has to be the unhappiest guy in the place. But on the positive side for Seattle, they found a new star in Derrick Fenner.
Todd, thanks very much. Again, 34-31 Denver over Seattle. Tonight on NBC, 2 world premiere movies. First, 7 of your favorite TV comedy stars go off to camp together in Camp Cucamonga. Our VCRs have been set for that one all day long. Then Veronica Hamill, Judd Hirsch, and Lee Grant star in She Said No, a powerful film that critics have really praised. That is Camp Cucamonga and She Said No, tonight on NBC. Again, 34-31 Denver over Seattle from Mile High Stadium. This has been NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League. Fred Rogan for Todd Christensen. So long from Denver.
Presidents left Finland, saying they will consider taking further steps against Iraq if current economic sanctions prove ineffective. But at least publicly, this one-day meeting went as advertised, with Mr. Bush and Mr. Gorbachev presenting the picture they came to send out, a united front against Saddam Hussein, endorsing a diplomatic rather than a military solution